Megan Takeda, and I would like to conduct a diet counseling session with you, and that'd probably take around 10-15 minutes. Would that be okay with you?
Sure.
Great. So, as we talked about before, we went over a 24-hour diet recall, and you showed me the measurements and all the other stuff, so I wanted to get more information or what you thought, your thoughts on that whole process, what you thought of it, experience.
Well, I thought it was pretty interesting to recall what I ate, because usually during the day you don't really think about what you eat, but it kind of made me think about the kinds of things I was eating, so I think that was pretty good.
That's good, yeah. Just to enrich your understanding of, like, portion size, you're saying.
Right.
Probably good
Yeah.
to know as far as that. So, okay, so based on the analysis that I've done on the diet recall, I've come up possibly with some topics that maybe discussed for this session, and some that I came up with was potassium, fiber, calcium, vegetables and greens, and fruits. So, which would you like to talk about this, or is there something else you would like to discuss?
Maybe the potassium, because I'm not real familiar with why potassium is important in my diet.
So it seems like you want to know more about what potassium does.
Right.
As you chose it as a topic. So, just out of curiosity, what out of all the topics that were shows or you might have considered, why did you choose potassium as?
Because I know a lot more about fiber, because it's so popular these days, about the importance of fiber and calcium for bones and greens and vegetables and fruits. But as far as potassium, I'm not real familiar with that topic.
I see. So, and can you tell me what you know about potassium?
Well, I know you need some in your diet, and that I don't know very many things that have potassium except bananas, and I don't like bananas, so maybe you could suggest some things I could eat that have potassium in it that I could try to eat more of.
Okay, that banana, as you said, is a good source of potassium, but there are actually other sources of foods that have potassium in it, and this might include like green vegetables like spinach, kale, fruits, variety of fruits on the line like blackberries and raspberries and sorts, and root vegetables, possibly, carrots, potatoes and such, and citrus fruits, orange, grapefruits and all that stuff, which are pretty good a variety as there is, you can see. So, yeah, it's a lot of options for you to choose from in all of your sport. So, actually, do you mind if I share some information about your diet analysis report about potassium? Okay, so according to the statistics you gave me or the food intake that you gave me, so supposedly for your target intake for your based on your calorie amount, that you're supposed to be having 4,700 milligrams a day, I think, but it seems that it might have been that your actual intake for this meal was 1,437 milligrams. So, what do you think
I'm
about
pretty
that?
low.
What are your thoughts on that kind of thing?
It sounds like I need to eat more things that have potassium in my diet, or try to include it in my diet. More of the things that you mentioned. I don't like bananas, but I probably could eat more other fruits. That's interesting. You said on vine. Do you mean like berries?
Mm-hmm.
Anything
berries.
like a berry would have that? Because I like berries.
Yeah, berries is a good alternative and whatnot. So, yeah, that's good to know. Okay, so do you mind if I ask you a couple more questions on that? So, here I have this scale of importance of confidence, and where it's where I get to know your client better, you better. So, and from 0 to 10, 0 is meaning of low importance on whether you want to feel like changing, not changing, like your potassium intake.
Right.
While 10 is you really strongly, definitely want to change your potassium intake. So, how would you rate
Well,
your
I always want to get what I'm, what the requirements are, so I probably have pretty important to get that added to my diet, by 8 or 9. I don't know, I mean, what's potassium important for? I mean, why do I need it?
Oh, that's a very good point you brought up. So actually, potassium is a very important mineral in like muscle compulsions and all this stuff, and it works with, it actually offsets the balance of sodium because they work together, and it might even counteract, possibly help with the high blood pressure associated with sodium.
So if I have more potassium, it offsets the effect of sodium on blood pressure?
Yeah, it might help offset
Really? Because I have high blood pressure and I take medication for that right now, so it'd be really good if I could control it. I mean, I try to stay away from a lot of salt, but I like salty things. So if I increase my potassium intake, that might help. So that's a good thing to know. Yeah.
Seems like after you hear the information, you've seemed to consider your high blood pressure.
Yeah, that would be a real motivating factor. I think that would make me like a 10 to get, try to get potassium into my diet, just because of my health problems. And, I don't like to rely on medication so much, and, rather than upping my medication, I'd rather control it more with diet would be good.
That'd be a very good alternative for that. That might help. Very good. So okay, I think. So just to summarize this whole session, unless you have any other questions or.
No, I think that's an important point. I think that the potassium is something that's really interesting to me, and I think I'll really try to do that, eat more things that have potassium. I think that's what I get from this conversation.
So actually, another question that came up to me just now. So, since you're considering possibly incorporating more potassium foods into your diet, what are your ideas of possibly including it into your regular dietary intake?
I probably should eat more fruits. I don't eat a lot of fruit. I do like vegetables. Probably on a given day, I might for that 24 hours, I probably is a little less than I normally would eat. But I probably, if I did add things, I'd probably add more of that. The types of things that have potassium.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Just incorporate it whenever you can, maybe snacks or in between meals, or incorporating it somewhat. So if you don't have any further questions?
No, I think that's pretty, it's like covering, covers everything.
Okay, so before we conclude the session, I just want to summarize to make sure I got it, so you can check me on it. So as I've heard that you've, before this counseling session, that you didn't know too much about potassium and its effects, and after you saw your intake of potassium for probably this typical day, that maybe you're considering including potassium-rich foods, and since seems like you have a concern of your high blood pressure and whatnot, that maybe incorporating potassium-rich foods might be a good way to go. You might maybe incorporate it said fruits and vegetables into your meals.
Mhm.
Did I get everything right?
Yeah,
Or is
that's
something-
pretty much what I'm planning to think about and do.
Okay, cool. So that ends our counseling session today. Thank you for your participation.
Well,
you
thank
very
you.
much.